Salutations readers, welcome to or welcome back to the Suitable Writer channel. My name is Nkechi, and for today, I'm doing a dedicated reading vlog for Winterween 2024. If you do not know what Winterween is, it is a readathon hosted by Gabby from Gabby Reads, and it's just a readathon that's similar to Summerween, but we just do it in winter instead of the summer. So I will link Gabby's announcement video down below as far as more information on the actual theme and the prompts, but generally the readathon starts today, which is January 5th, and it will end on January 11th. This year's theme is witches. So the prompts are going to be kind of like regarding witches around there. And I'm going to be very transparent with y'all. Witches aren't really my favorite fantastical creature, supernatural creature, or anything like that. Witches isn't really my thing, but I just wanted to try Winterween because, well, I said I would, and I haven't really finished a book so far this year, and I was like, you know what, why not have a read a vlog where I try to find my very first reads of the year, you know, the first book, maybe a couple books. So the prompts here, I'm just going to show you all the infographics. So it's like read a book in the darker night, read a book with witch on the cover or title or about witches, read a book with a snowy witchery setting, read a book with purple on the cover, and read a book with W in the title. And it doesn't matter where in the title of the book. So for me, I do have a few books. I have a couple books that will fit the prompts. I have books that might not fit the prompts. I'm just here just to read for the sake of reading. So I'll just show y'all, I guess, my TBR, because again, mood reading, but also I just need to find something to finish. So first up, I have War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. This is the first book in the War Girls duology. This is a book that I put, I think, on my series TBR for the new year. So I finally started it. I am listening to it via audio, but I do own a physical copy. So I think I'm going to hybrid read it because this is a very hard, sci-fi book. It's young adult, sci-fi. It's pretty much about the Biafran War, but set in the futuristic setting of Nigeria. So yeah, so far I do like it, but Tochi Onyebuchi's writing is good, but his world building, the sci-fi stuff that he does is really a lot of information, and I'm trying to sink my reading teeth into it. So I'm gonna take my time with this one, but it's also kind of a lot as well. So I think I really am just gonna take my time with War Girls, but it's definitely something very important though to me personally that I really want to finish. So we'll see if I finish it in this vlog. Oh yeah, and it does fit the prompt for W in the title. Then I have The Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. This obviously fits the purple on the cover, but this is a book that I saw DNF last year, and I did start it this year, and I'm already a little bit over 100 pages in. This is a young adult historical fantasy horror book where we find our main protagonist here, Silas, who is trans but has to be the gender that he does not identify with, to be in this finishing school for violet-eyed women who are not allowed, some other things. The point is that I'm just really glad that I started reading it, and yeah, but definitely Conor Warning Stone on transphobia, dead naming, and yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely talk more about this book a little bit later. I don't know if I'll finish it, but I'm definitely further into this book. But another book that I'm further into is actually on my Kindle, and I am currently reading An Education in Malice by Saint Gibson. This is an e-arc. The book comes out February 13th, and I really do want to finish this book also soon so that, I can have a review for it as well. And I'm surprised on how much, I shouldn't say I'm surprised. I am having a good time with it. I wasn't sure what to really expect from it, honestly, because the writing style is still very much the same, like in Diary of Blood, but it's not that same kind of style, technically speaking. I could tell it's from the same author, but the actual way that's written is not the same from a Diary of Blood, which is fine, honestly, because an Education of Malice is more like a reimagining of Carmilla, while a Diary of Blood is like a reimagining of Dracula. And since I've read Carmilla, it's even more interesting for me because I'm like, I can kind of see where the deviation, I can really see the deviations because it's very much deviating from the original tale since it was a novella, just like a Diary of Blood from Dracula, despite the fact I didn't read Dracula. But yeah, I have that. And then I have this library book here, Jewel Box Stories by E. Lily Yu. This is, I think, a debut short story collection, but I think she's well known for other short stories and anthologies, but I think it's her very first own short story collection, and it's speculative fiction. I don't really know much about the author or this short story collection, but it's from a publisher or an imprint of a publisher that I'm starting to get more into it. So yeah, I think there's how many stories? Okay, nope, never mind. There's nearly 20 or something in here. nearly 20, maybe 18, 19, 20, somewhere around there. So yeah, I don't really know too much, but honestly, that's fine. All I know is it's not very, very long though. It's like a little over 300 pages. And this is due on January 11th. So if I'm going to read it, then why not read it? It doesn't really fit a prompt. I mean, it could fit a prompt for read a book in the dark if I really wanted to. But I don't know. I'm just reading it for vibes, honestly. And then finally, the final book I have here is The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve-Dew. This is a book. This is Tanana Reeve-Dew's most recent release. It came out last year. And now I finally got the library copy. I literally got it, I think, like 2 days ago or yesterday or something like that. This is historical horror. This is pretty much actually based on Tanana Reeve-Dew's, I think, what was it, her great uncle? Yeah, her great uncle who died at a reformatory school in Florida. So it's pretty much based on her own family history, which is like, wow. Seriously though, like, wow. The bravery to write a story like that, and also like something very much more, I think, paranormal in here, which is gonna be so cool. So this will be my second Tanana Reeve-Dew book. I really am excited to read this one. I literally just borrowed it. But yes, this is my tentative TBR for Winterween, and I'm saying tentative TBR with very big quotation marks because I'm a mood reader. And some of these books don't really fit into any of the prompts. Some of them do. And they don't really have anything regarding witches. I'm just making a reading vlog of like the first reads of the year, honestly. So is it Winterween or is it like a general reading vlog? I don't know. We were all about to find out. But yes, that's today. I haven't done any reading today for the first day of Winterween. Honestly, I wasn't in the reading mood. I was actually feeling a little bit under the weather. So I'm trying to get back into things. So I need to actually edit a video so it could be up later on today. But there's going to be reading sprints tomorrow hosted by Gabby, and the co-host will be Gavin and Jesse. So looking forward to watching the sprints for that, but I also will link down the replay as well if y'all missed it so that y'all can have a chance to watch it. So that'll be linked down below as well as Gabby's announcement video down below for future reference, you know. But anyways, I will update y'all in a couple of days, hopefully with some sort of reading progress of some sort.
Hey everyone, so today is Sunday. It is nearly 10 a.m. So that's why it's kind of a little bit dark, and I'm just using my reader light as a light source because I don't feel like having the big light in this area, because why? So I'm here to update y'all and say that I actually finished 2 books already. I actually finished both books literally yesterday. So I'm just gonna talk about those books right now. So first up, I finished reading the e-arc of An Education in Malice. So if you do not know what An Education in Malice is about, it is a dark, sapphic reimagining of Carmilla, and we follow Laura, who is a freshman at this college, women's college, and she's in the poetry cohort where she meets Carmilla, who has a very inappropriate relationship with their poetry professor, De La Fontaine, and De La Fontaine is a vampire. So, yeah, pretty much. I think that's really it, as far as the synopsis. Now, I was reading this book for the read a book in the dark or at night prompt. I was also read a book with a winter or snowy setting because there is a point in the story that, since it does take place in like a school and a college, it's also dark academia as well. So the beginning, like half the novel is like taking place in the fall, the other half is like taking place sometime closer to the winter time. And I gave this book 3.25 stars. I did like it, especially in regards to being a reimagining of Carmilla. This is definitely leagues better than the original story, but in comparison to like A Dowry of Blood, which this does take place within the same universe because we even get a cameo for one of the characters from A Dowry of Blood, and I will have to say that A Dowry of Blood personally for me is just better than this. Not to say that An Education in Malice is just not good, it's just that I was personally hoping for more, even though I wasn't really sure what to expect, because this is a lot more character driven. So if you're like a character driven reader, this is a character-driven kind of story. And I feel like the characters are mostly likable, but I personally did not have a strong attachment to them, despite this, except for the fact that I am familiar with like the original versions of these characters and like the original tale. Now, I still think they're still pretty solid characters for the most part. There's definitely a point in the story that I feel like kind of gets a little bit old with their characters a little bit. Like, I liked Lara, and I had to grow a little bit into Carmilla a little bit. Once I did, it was easy for me to root for their rival still lovers sapphic relationship. And I did appreciate how Saint was able to write this inappropriate relationship between Carmilla and De La Fontaine. I think it was handled really well. I already knew, I was like, ooh, student-teacher relationship, but I've already read A Diary of Blood, so I know how Saint will be able to write such very uncomfortable topics in a way that it will be handled well, so I trusted Saint for that, and it worked out well. I think my problem, though, is that since it is a character-driven, I wasn't really sure what's going on with the actual story itself. I'm just like, so where are we going with this plot? Are we going somewhere? I really wasn't sure. And there was something that happened like halfway through, which made me go, oh, okay. But then even after that, it started kind of get a little bit boring for me, honestly. Which is a little bit disappointing, to be quite honest. But also, though, I also did like the writing as well. It's still atmospheric and lyrical, just like in A Diary of Blood. The only difference, though, is that it's not as poetic as A Diary of Blood. So if you're here for St. Gibson's poetic writing from A Diary of Blood, it's not in here. It was nearly like a pretty solid book, but I just feel like if we had a little more going with the plot here, maybe. And also, I think my biggest disappointment, though, as far as character-wise, is the actual vampiric professor here. I actually find De La Fontaine quite a boring character, and I'm just like, I actually kind of expected more from you. Why are you so kind of boring and a little bit one note? Like, you're intriguing, but you're not intriguing enough. So yeah, kind of a disappointment here, but I didn't really have high expectations since this is not the kind of story that I'm used to reading. Like, it's definitely like I think it's on the vein of like a dark romance, which is something I'm not avid in. I don't really read dark romance. It's like definitely my first foray into that. And I just think that for An Education in Malice, for anyone who wants to read it, since it does come out next month in February, it comes out on February 13th, then I will say that this is best for anyone who likes an sapphic academic rivals to lovers for sure. You got to keep in mind of the student-teacher relationship in here. And I will say it doesn't veer sexually at all. And there are content warnings provided by St. Gibson, so there is sexual content, it's talk about kink, and if I remember correctly, there's definitely blood, murder, toxic academic environments, and brief minor mentions of homophobia, religious discrimination against women, and racism. So just want to say that out there for content warnings, but always appreciate St. Gibson giving us content warnings. Now, the other book that I finished reading yesterday was The Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. This one I was reading via audio and I was reading physically, so this was a hybrid read. This one fulfills the read a book with purple on the cover, and I feel like it fits the vibe as well. Like, despite the fact that An Education in Malice and The Spirit Bears Its Teeth are not regarding witches, they're both, I feel like, fit the theme. Andrew Joseph White also provides content warnings and his authors on the very beginning of the book, so I highly appreciate that. Now, this book, we are following a trans boy who has to practically dress up as a girl named Silas. This takes place in London, 1883. We have something like the Veil, which pretty much is a way that that these people who violet people who can access the way to talk to the dead, which we have the World Speaker Society, which is hosted by white cis men, so they looking at the women like, you are not to touch the veil, you're here to practically breed, basically. You're here just to give men the opportunity so that they can have violet-eyed sons who can do it. And I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, and we also talk about sick women who have the veil sickness, and they have to go to this finishing school to pretty much get better, quote unquote. So it's pretty much talk about a lot about that, and also medical experimentation as well. Now, this one I gave 4.25 stars. I thought this was really, really good. Personally, I do prefer Hell Followed With Us. That's definitely my preferred out of the two works so far. I mean, this is still like a really, really good book. It's a really good sophomore novel, but I just don't think... I think what's kind of holding me back just a little bit is the character. Not because the character work is like bad or anything, but it's not something... Like, I felt sympathetic and empathetic, of course, with the characters, especially what Silas is going through in here. But I didn't feel as much investment regarding side characters, honestly. In fact, I really could care less about the side characters, which really sucks, especially what they were going through. So I don't know if there's really a critique on the book itself, but I think it's just me personally. I just could not be fully invested in the side characters, which is what I really liked about How Fall With Us. This one, not so much. And there's a little bit of a romance here with Silas and another person that I'm just like, that's cute and all, but I don't really kind of care for that. But I do think Andrew Joseph White still has a pretty solid writing style, really good on the horror here. So despite this being young adult historical fantasy horror, like the horror here is a lot, especially regarding medical content and gore, which I'm totally here for. So yeah, that's pretty much all the books that I've read and finished. I don't know what I'm gonna do for today, honestly, because I don't know, I think I'm a little bit tired from reading a lot last night, so I might do some reading later on today, but I don't know. I'm just gonna update y'all in a couple of days when I've hopefully finished something or read more of something. I don't know. Hey everyone, so today is Tuesday and it is nearly 12:30. I literally just came home from work, so I'm just here just to update y'all pretty quickly, because honestly I haven't done too much reading since the last time, but I did start a book. So I'm going to just talk about the book that I started. So I started a book on my Kindle, and it's an e-arc, and it is called Infinity Alchemist by Case and Calendar. This is going to be Case and Calendar's like fantasy debut, but it's young adult fantasy. It's also queer, because we're following a trans man named Ash, who is a groundskeeper for this alchemy school that he applied to but didn't get into, and Ash gets caught with doing alchemy, because in this world doing alchemy when you're not licensed to do alchemy is, or even a student, is practically a crime. It's a pretty big crime actually. And one of the, I think, graduate apprentices named Ramsey Thorne decides to teach Ash officially on alchemy, but as in exchange for Ash to help Ramsey with find out this book or source or something, that this kind of like MacGuffin thing that, hey, if you get this, you have all power, knowledge of universe, and infinite knowledge of alchemy, something like that, which is a cool concept, okay? And I do like the concept, like I do like the alchemy in this world. I mean, the only thing I know anything regarding alchemy is, Fullmetal Alchemist. So this is a very interesting take in regards to alchemy. That's a little bit more, that's definitely a lot more magic, personally. I see it more as magic than like more of like some sort of a science. I forgot how far I was. I think I was about 20% into this. And to be quite honest with y'all, I don't actually really like this, which is very unfortunate. It was one of my I won't say it's my most anticipated release, but it was an anticipated release though for myself. Like I was really looking forward to reading it, and then I was so thankful to get an arc from Tortine. But I'm starting to realize that, like, I don't know, sometimes when you read a young adult book, you're just like, am I just too old for this? I'm just like, am I just too old? Is that what it is? But I'm also just like, I don't really think it's just because of the fact I'm too old for this. Because I'm not even that far off from the actual ages of these characters. Like, these characters are like 18, 19 years old. Like, that's not far off from my age. But, like, it is just frustrating because of how impulsive Ash is. I'm at a point I'm like, do I want to DNF this arc? But I really don't want to DNF it, not only because of my feedback score on NetGalley, but also because of the fact that it might just get better. But I'm not so sure. And I'm really struggling because Ash as a character is so impulsive. Now, don't get me wrong. I have read plenty of young adult YA fantasy books with impulsive main characters, okay? I've read plenty of that. So it's not just the fact that he's impulsive, it's also for the fact that he's generally so impulsive that he's not thinking things through, and then gets surprised when something pretty much smacks him back in the face. I'm just like, bruh, what are we doing here? Like, you playing too much. I just can't. We do have a lot of discussions on, like, classism here. Because, like, if you're an alchemist, the only way you can really get into the schools or even license, really, is when, if you really even have the money to attend these kind of schools. And I'm just like, oof. And Ash does not have that kind of money, so, like, it makes sense. So there's definitely talks about classism here, but I don't think the actual discussions regarding class is as well thought out here. I don't know necessarily how to describe it, especially when this is an arc and it won't come out until February 6th. So, like, And I don't want to spoil it either, but something I just don't like how the talks about regarding class, it feels very surface level. I don't think there's enough actually true discussion, but then again, we are pretty early on in the story, so maybe there's more to it when I get further into it, but so far this is not very promising. And I don't even like Ramsey either. I really don't. I don't like them as much, which sucks though, because they are gender fluid. So, and also in this world, you could use alchemy. If you're a certain tier of alchemy, you can actually learn to, like, change, like, your appearance and stuff, which I think is very cool, but Ash is not able to do that, unfortunately, so I don't know. I guess it really is more of a skill thing. So I think it's really, really cool to have a gender fluid character here. Like, the queer representation here is actually pretty good, and I really think it's so cool in regards to this world regarding alchemy, but my problem is that these characters are so damn right annoying. Like, for Ramsey is not impulsive, but Ramsey is condescending, and I don't like condescending characters. So I don't even like Ramsey, but I also don't feel like we're gonna get much with Ramsey. To look at, like, I don't know, like, the entire story is really focusing more on Ash's perspective, and we do get a couple glimpses of, like, Ramsey's past, but really it's just more focusing on Ash. So, like, I don't think that's really gonna change as the story goes on. But I do know as well, though, in the synopsis that this is going to be polyamorous as well. So Ash and Ramsey will be getting together, especially with a third person, which I haven't met yet. So I am kind of looking forward to seeing how the polyamory is going to work in this one. I really am struggling with the characters, and I really want a little bit more detail on the world here. I don't know. I actually don't quite like the writing either. So I don't know if I am going to DNF this. I don't really like DNFing arcs because I really want to give these books a chance, and if I just don't like it, then, like, well, then people just gotta know that I didn't like it. Just my honest opinion, but, like, I don't know. And I haven't DNF'd a book so far this year, so, like, do I really want to talk about the first DNF of the year? I don't know. So, I don't know. I just really want to just read it, at least, so... Yeah, and it's also fast-paced, so that kind of helps, but that also is hindering my enjoyment as well, because I don't typically like fast-paced novels. I like action-packed, but not fast-paced. I don't know, y'all. This might actually have to be a DNF, which I really, really, really don't like doing. But this is... I don't want to struggle. I don't want to suffer through Infinity Alchemist if I'm not enjoying it, but I also don't like DNFing arcs, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might actually end up DNFing, or I might just push through it, but yeah, I'll let y'all know. I think at the end of the vlog on what I decide to do. But as far as what I'm gonna read in the meantime while I decide on that, it's either gonna be Infinity Alchemist or I'm gonna just pick up something else. But yeah, I'm just gonna update y'all practically when the vlog is over, honestly, because the next couple of days it'll be the end of Winterween. So yeah, I'm just gonna update y'all then, and we'll see if y'all will see if I did Infinity Alchemist. Y'all will find out in like a few seconds. So cool, see y'all then. Salutations, everyone. Today's Wednesday afternoon. I literally came home from work about an hour ago, and I'm just gonna end the vlog, honestly. I think I'm done with Winterween. Yeah, I know there's one more day, but honestly, I think I'm done with all my reading. So, like I said yesterday, I was debating on DNFing Infinity Alchemist. I decided just to DNF it. The more I thought about it, the more I'm just like, I am not trying to suffer through this arc. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. So, I hope for anyone who does want to read Infinity Alchemist, maybe it'll do better for y'all, but I'm just not that invested in the world, in the writing, and the characters to really bother. And I think, and also another thing too that really surprised me though about Infinity Alchemist, because I had to look on Goodreads. Now, again, I know I said I deleted my Goodreads account, but there was something about Infinity Alchemist that didn't make sense to me, because I came into this book thinking that it was a standalone. Because on Storygraph, it doesn't indicate that it's a part of a series. But I don't think Storygraph knows that this actually is a part of the series. Because on Goodreads, it says Infinity Alchemist #1. Which I'm like, wait a minute. This is going to be a first in a series? Which told me that, nope, I must jump ship. Because there is just no way. There's just no way. Look, if I had a nickel for every single time I requested an arc from Tor Team, and then I end up DNFing this young adult fantasy book, and then finding out it's a first in a series, I will have 2 nickels. Which is not a lot, but I hate it that it happened twice.
It happened with me last year with Blood Depths, okay? That book, first in the series, I had no idea. I came into thinking it would be a standalone, but I was not liking it for other reasons as well. This one's the same thing. I'm like, I just can't. So, y'all can have Infinity Alchemist. Unfortunately, I won't. So, yeah, that's Infinity Alchemist. And, yeah, I'm just really here just to end the vlog. There's not really much for me to actually update y'all. Well, except for the fact that I did start 3 other books, and they're not really related to Winterween at all. So, there's actually not really much I can really say about those books, because maybe in a vlog or my wrap-up, y'all would know my thoughts on those books if I finish them. But anyways, let's just wrap up all the things that I read in this vlog. So, I start off the vlog with finishing an Education of Malice e-arc. Comes out February 13th. 3.25 stars. I liked it. I like the writing. It's not as good as A Diary of Blood in my personal opinion. I didn't feel as invested with certain characters. I mean, I definitely did like the sapphic academic rivals to lovers. Honestly, I liked that. But I don't think I really liked... I don't know if it was liked, but I didn't feel as much interested or intrigued with the professor, the vampire professor. I actually found her kind of disappointing, so... yeah, and also I was not totally sure where we're going with the plot. And then I read The Spirit Bears Its Teeth, which I do have physically, but it's literally this purple book right here. But I'm just going to show y'all the cover instead. Read it via audio and physically, so it's hybrid read. 4 stars. I really liked it. I thought it was really good, but I definitely prefer Hell Followed With Us more so. Then I DNF'd Infinity Alchemist because of reasons that I said yesterday. And then I started like 3 other books, and there's no point in me really talk about them because I didn't get really far into them to really talk about. So yeah. But anyways, that is literally it. That is all I have for y'all regarding Winterween. Am I going to do this again next year? I'm not really sure. Probably not. But it was fun trying though for this year. I just wanted to give it a try. And now I finally have books that I started for the new year. So yeah, we're so far in a rocky start. Not the greatest, but you know, I still have the rest of the month to go. So we shall see if there will be an improvement later on. But anyways, thank you all for coming on to this video. And thank you, Gabby from Gabby Reads, for hosting this readathon. Anyways, if y'all like this vlog, like it, subscribe if you want to. Comment down below your thoughts on Winterween. Now, if you made it this far into the video, but you just want to leave me an emoji, just leave me a snowflake emoji for winter. But anyways, thank you all for coming to this video. And I hope to see you all in my next one. And for more in 2024 and beyond. Bye.